Woof.
39 minutes.
Let's go.
39 minutes it took me to get it ready.
Professionals.
39 minutes to get the audio set up on a
Hell yeah,
Sunday
dude.
morning.
Big Sunday energy.
But we got it working, bitch. How's it
We're up.
going?
We're up and running.
We're online now. We're
Mhm.
live. The show
Oh,
is
shit.
is alive. People can see it. It's viral.
Uh-huh.
The internet's buzzing, man.
I personally am going mad with fame and power.
How does it feel
I
to
was
have
very
everyone know about you?
I was very disrespectful to the checkout person at Whole Foods today, and I felt justified.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Whole Foods, huh?
Uh-huh.
That must be nice.
Foods hole. That's what I like to call it.
Where are your pants?
It's a fun joke you could play. Just call Whole Foods the Foods hole.
That's really good. That's extremely good,
You
actually.
see what I did? I took the words and I
I
flipped them.
see that you took the words and you flipped them, kind of
Flip
like
'em.
what I did, right here.
I feel it in my bones, I am rectangular.
Exactly.
How you doing, man? We just saw each other in person.
We did. That was wild. That was kind of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. For those of you who don't know, Chris and I live in different states. I live in Oregon. He lives in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Incorrect.
He lives in Edmond. But we were both in Colorado. You were there for
Denver.
work. I was
Yeah.
there for pleasure.
For funsies. Yeah, that was a nice little hangout.
Yeah, we had pizza. We had a
Yeah,
beer.
we had some fucking zaw.
It was pretty good. And
Yeah,
we
man.
talked about how we're famous now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
So,
had some other plebeians there
yeah,
groveling
we
at our
don't need to
table.
talk about them. They don't matter. They're normies, Chris.
Yeah.
We're on the internet. Don't they understand?
One of them might be in
We
our comment section right now.
who?
Sarah.
Dylan?
No.
Sarah?
Writing mean and disrespectful things.
Sarah, if you're watching this right now, what up? How's it going?
Drop us a flame emoji in the comments,
Yeah,
Sarah.
drop us. This will be a good test to see if our friends listen to the show.
Yeah,
Also,
for sure.
all the Roberts out there, all of our Roberts.
Yeah, it is Sunday.
If you remember, yeah, it's a Sunday vibe. Sunday's only for Roberts.
Uh-huh. Bobby Sunday, we call him.
Yo, it's your boy Robert Sunday.
What fucking episode are we talking about this week, dog?
We're on episode 9, man. We're already on episode 9.
We're 2/3,
Peggy
3/4.
The Boggle Champ.
I liked this one a lot.
What'd you think? You liked it a lot?
Yeah.
I went in, like, initially on my first watch through, I didn't, and then I watched it last night, and it grew on me. It's
I
not
kind of
like
felt like that too.
It's not like a huge standout though in my mind, you know?
It's a good Peggy episode. It really shows a lot about her personality. I liked it because there's a nice little B storyline in there that we'll get to.
Oh, the Bobby and Luanne thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
And then
good.
I also liked there's some there's a foreshadow and I think a storyline retcon inconsistency in this episode. So this is a fun one for like
Save it
little
for
facts.
the walkthrough,
I know.
man.
We'll
Come
get
on.
there. You guys gotta stick around. Yeah.
First though, before we get into season 1, episode 9, Peggy the Boggle Champ of King of the Hill, do you want to fucking hit him with it?
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
Do you wanna hit him with it?
It's time for this week in Arlen.
Hey. This week in Arlen, this is the segment of the show. For those of you who don't know, maybe it's your first episode, in which case, fucking where have you been, man? We're famous already. This is the segment on the show. Yeah, yeah. Glad you're here, but fucking get in line. Get in line. Bow down to us. We're huge. But this is the segment where we're
podcasters,
through...
goddammit.
Yeah, don't you know? We go through the current events, but not the current events of today, the current events of April 13th, 1997, when this
Yesteryear.
here episode aired on television. It was a Sunday night. Imagine you're there and put yourself in 1997. And this is where we are. Let's
Hell yeah.
start with the TV guide. What was going on? We had the canine mutiny on The Simpsons. We got to start with our Simpsons check. I don't know what this episode is, actually.
Yeah, I don't know that much about it. I normally rely on you for Simpsons knowledge here. Something I'm noticing here. What is Fox trying to come in and do?
Oh,
World's
I know.
funniest outtakes?
I
They're
know
trying
this
to go against
episode.
AFV up on
Yeah,
ABC.
and obviously that didn't stand the test of time. Fox needs to stick to their fucking guns and step off of ABC shit. Maybe this one was like a little more Fox. Maybe it was like a little edgier because that was Fox's whole thing, you know? But the Canine Mutiny was an episode of The Simpsons where Bart gets like a high-end Lassie type dog.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the family forgets about Santa's Little Helper, and Santa's Little Helper runs away. It's an okay one. We don't need to talk about it too much. This isn't a Simpsons podcast yet.
Yeah, not yet.
It will eventually become one if all goes right. For me,
for the Sunday movies, though, we've got Mother Knows Best and The Meteor Man.
Meteor
I don't think
Man.
I've seen either of those.
Don't know a single thing about either of those. Life with Roger, probably another of a string of failed WB sitcoms. But primetime WB had it going
it's
on.
It's all reruns on WB right now.
Yeah,
look at that.
I mean, it was mostly reruns most of the time on WB, right?
Yeah. And of course,
they have a lot of
America's
like
Castles.
original programming.
Oh, I don't know.
Huh. Well, we're not experts on the WB. We're experts on the goddamn King of the Hill. But yeah, that's what we had going on TV that night.
Yeah.
If you were a 5-year-old going to a birthday party on Monday or maybe on Sunday, and you lived in Edmond, Oklahoma, much like Chris did.
Incorrect.
It was my wife's 5th birthday.
Cute. Look at little baby Moret and her straight across bangs.
Yep. She looks exactly like that still.
Moret, what were you doing with those bangs?
Chime in the comments. Tell us about it.
Yeah, she does stand like that a lot. I've seen her do that.
Yeah, no, she had the posing down then, and nothing has really changed. But earlier that month, there was a little bit of a lapse in between episodes here.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But earlier in April, like a less than 2 weeks prior, the fucking first episode of Pokemon aired.
Hell yeah.
How much of a game changer was that? Was that a huge thing in your life?
Yes, dude. Pokemon was big for me and my siblings.
It still is for me. It still is for my niece and nephew and my brother. And that's kind of crazy that it's been around for like 30. I remember like getting my first Game Boy when I was like 7 and getting Pokemon Red. I'm actually
jogging out here.
There's
this guy trying to get some fitness in. Sorry.
Focus, man. We're doing a podcast here.
I'm right in front of a window.
Chris, you're like a dog.
Yes. Brad likes Pokemon. We heard.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, fuck me, I guess. Keys to Tulsa came out on Friday.
What is Keys to Tulsa? I've never heard of
No
this.
fucking idea, but this the poster looks spectacular.
Yeah, dude,
I think we should probably check it out. But more importantly, for movie releases, fucking Anaconda came out on Friday.
Hell yeah, dude.
Ice Cube, John Voight.
The Cube.
Classic movie. Need to rewatch that one for spooky season, maybe.
When you can't breathe, you can't scream.
Whoa. And also on this day, Tiger Woods won his first Masters, 21 years old.
Damn.
You a big golf guy?
Not really. No.
No, me either. But everyone knows who Tiger Woods is. This
Yeah,
was
Tiger Woods is definitely one of those quintessential 90s, early
Yeah.
2000s athletes that,
this was a pretty huge event in the world to
Yeah.
have taken place on the same day as episode 9 of King of the Hill.
blessed and honored he is.
And also, it was Mario Lemieux's final regular season game for the first time, his first retirement. This was
Ooh.
post Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Hmm.
He had just finished up cancer treatment, I believe, and just wasn't really happy with his style of play / the direction that the NHL was going in. They went on to get obliterated in the first round by the Flyers, I believe.
Oof.
Yeah.
I like that chest logo. It's cool.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah,
have that
that's a cool one.
that jersey. Maybe I'll rock
Yeah.
it for a future episode for all my
Hockey
penguin
jerseys are
heads.
sick. I'm not
Especially
a huge hockey
90s
head, but
hockey jerseys.
yeah,
90s
those are some of the
hockey
coolest
jerseys
kits out there.
Yeah, they had it going on. The one that Snoop Dogg wore in the music video, that was also Pittsburgh Penguins with the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh across the chest.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got that one too. It's a classic.
Well, hell
But
yeah.
yeah, that's that'll fucking do it. Yeah. Sorry, it
Yeah.
wasn't up to your liking. Sorry, I couldn't live up to a guy outside running, Chris.
Keeping my eye out for
Still
him.
out there?
No. And there's nothing new out there. I'm just easily distracted.
Well, should we just get into the fucking episode then?
Before we do, you want to explain your shirt for the listeners?
Oh, do you know
AKA
about
me?
Do you know about Dino? Shout out, much like us, heavily underrated YouTube series. Childish Dino is an animated series from Australia. They have one season
Really?
out. They have a criminally low amount of subscribers, but it
Interesting.
is one of the funniest, most heartfelt, sweetest little animated series that I have seen
Cute.
in a very long time. It's
Childish
kind of
Dino.
like if South Park, like if Cartman wasn't a sociopath, he's just like kind of
Nice.
a little troublemaker with an Australian accent. Yeah, check it out. Everyone go watch Childish Dino. I'll link it below just because I like them a lot.
We're doing them a favor with our massive following.
Yeah. If you all could go over and drop them a follow, because I know you're already following us. You're already on board with us.
Shouts out to you. 21.
But yeah, Dino, we've got that out of the way. Let's get into the Fujin episode, my dude. So episode 9, Peggy the Boggle Champ. The description from the wiki goes as such. In the 9th episode of King of the Hill, it was first aired April 13th, 1997. We already went over that. The episode was written by Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger, directed by Chuck
Berger.
Sheets. He's a Chuck in the sheets, and he's a
Charles in the
Charles
streets.
in the streets. In this episode, Peggy wins a series of Boggle games and goes on to the championship. Meanwhile, Bobby and Luanne try to deal with a condensation ring left on the coffee table, but make a bigger
So
mess
funny.
than usual. Before we go through the episode, are you a Boggle dude? I don't think I've ever played Boggle in my entire life.
No.
How does it work? How do you play the game?
So it's like you got that little cube thing. It's got
Yeah, I know they have
the letter
there's-
blocks.
Yeah.
You shake that up and then you try to make words out of what you've got there.
That sounds easy as shit.
Kind of.
Yeah, not a huge
favorite,
Boggle guy.
My favorite letter related board game is Bananagrams.
I like bananagrams. I'm a big.
Bananagrams is
I
fun.
play Wordle pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Shout out Wordle.
Yep.
There's a new New York Times game called Connections too.
Ooh.
If you haven't played that, it's like a bunch of words that are seemingly random, and you have to like find the connection between all like pairs of 4.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to that too. I'm full of shout outs today.
Yeah, dude.
What else? What else? What else could we shout out? Yeah, we get right into it on this one with a theme song, no cold open. We open up with Peggy explaining Boggle to Min. The men in this scene are in the living room. They
Watching
see a
TV.
commercial for the Dallas Mower Expo with a little bit of Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday.
A couple things that I noted in this scene. Peggy, while she's explaining the game, we get a "hoo yeah."
Yes, we get a couple
We
enthusiastic
get
who
a.
yeahs
I
this
noted
episode.
every "hoo yeah" in the episode.
I also wrote down the who yeahs.
Luanne,
Dale,
good quote from her. She says, "The words I don't know could fill a dictionary."
she's got the best quotes, but y'all
Yeah.
already know we stay in the win.
We're loose stands.
Dale hates to see Nancy cooped up inside all day playing that boggle. Dale thinks that she should be outside hanging his laundry.
Yes, very important. But yeah,
Classic.
essentially in this one, Peggy's explaining Boggle to Min. She's destroying everybody, kind of fleecing Min, taking some money from her. They're all hyping her up that she's so good at Boggle, while Hank and the boys are intrigued by this Dallas Mower Expo. Peggy comes in and tells Hank that she wants to enter a tournament, and he's not super supportive
Yes.
like the gals are.
Yeah. Hank really in this episode doesn't seem to have much interest in Peggy's hobby throughout this episode, and that'll kind of be the crux that comes back later to it. While we're talking about the Dallas Mower Expo, King Mulch is going to be there. I don't know if you heard
Oh, yeah.
that King Mulch was going to be there, and also 10,000 oil paintings need to be sold.
Oh, yeah, that was really good.
They're doing all this mower stuff, and they're like, also 10,000 oil paintings need to be sold.
The most extreme. Did you ever go to a monster truck show? I know that is like what this is essentially parodying, is those like monster truck commercials.
Yes, we did go to some monster truck shows.
I did
whenever
too.
I was a kid. They're dope.
In Wichita Falls, Texas. I've been to a monster truck show. I think I may have seen fucking what was that super famous one? Yeah.
Gravedigger?
Yeah.
Bigfoot?
I was gonna say Truckosaurus, but I think that's from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Peggy says that she only plays for fun, but oh, by the way, Min, you owe me $13, and Min kind of claps back that next week they're gonna play mahjong to bring her checkbook.
Have you ever played mahjong?
I have, but just on the computer.
I have played it a handful of times. It felt very complicated, but I don't know that it is.
Min has some great clapbacks, or has some great lines in this episode. She's kind of limited, but she's got great lines. But yeah, Nancy suggests that Peggy join the tournament, and then she says she only plays for fun. But then as soon as Nancy and Min leave, she's like, Hank, I want to enter this tournament. Like,
immediately competitive, classic Peggy style. Then we cut pretty much immediately to the tournament.
I did have one note here. Hank says, Boggle, is there anything the Elks won't do for money? And they ask if they're still playing cow bingo. And Peggy has a funny line about Boggle is a game of wits, whereas cow bingo is a game of strategy.
Is cow bingo a thing?
Yeah, cow bingo is a thing. It's like a fundraiser thing.
What?
Yeah, dude, you make a grid out of like a pin, or wherever you've got this cow, just make a grid.
There's actually cows involved?
Yeah, there's actually cows in there, and you take bets on where the cow is going to shit, and that's how you win. It's called cow bingo.
Dude, the South is weird.
Wow. Cow bingo. But yeah, cow bingo is a game of strategy.
Anywho, we cut over to Peggy at the tournament. We get another hoo yeah from her. Hank is there. He's kind of just impatient, acting like he doesn't want to be there.
That's a word Peggy finds in the boggle. She goes, impatient.
Yep. We get a couple hoo yeahs in this one. There's a kid, Zachary Quinn Jr.
Yep, Zachary Quinn Jr.
Pop up a screenshot of Zachary Quinn Jr. here, a sickly boy in a wheelchair that Peggy offers to spell
Yeah.
his name in Boggle.
Peggy's really flexing on him at this Elks Lodge tournament. First of all, the first game ends and she says that she only did words that are part of Patsy Cline lyrics. So first round, she only does Patsy Cline lyrics. Second round, she's able to find Zachary Quinn Jr. in there.
Which seems like it would be a hard name to find. You got a
Yeah.
Z and a
Z,
Q.
Q, and a J.
Well, J's probably aren't that uncommon.
That's how good Peggy is.
She's a Boggle champion, and she fucking clears this tourney, dude.
Easily. I did have a little something funny that's going to pop up here. Hank has, said he's eaten a cinnamon and bought a P trap, and that's all he can do for the day. So that the P trap is going to come up later.
What exactly is a P trap?
It's a bent pipe for plumbing. So if you go under your sink and look, you'll find a little squiggly piece. Kind of looks like a sideways S. It's to
I didn't know that was called a P trap.
It's called a P trap. It's to keep stuff from going back up pipe.
Keep all the pee from coming up.
I think it more has to do with the shape.
Because you pee in your sink.
But yeah, Peggy's really good. I thought it was funny in here. Dale says, Hank, your wife's pretty good at Boggle. That's why they call her your better half. And Hank's like, who calls her that? Dale says, they. Like Hank is insulted.
So, yeah, he understands pronouns.
Yeah.
Somebody understands pronouns.
Hank being emasculated is going to come back up this episode.
Yeah, it gets a nice resolution in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly Hank fighting against it.
She gets a big trophy. They put it up in the den.
She tries to clear the trophy shelf, moving away Hank's MVP trophy, and he is again threatened and insecure by this. She then asks him to be his coach at the next tournament because she gets invited to go play at State, which is in Dallas. Hank says that Dallas is crawling with crackheads and debutantes,
and half of them play for the Cowboys. Yeah,
but he ultimately wants to go so that him and the boys can go to this mower show that was mentioned in the prior scene.
Whenever she says we'll be back on Sunday, we get
Sunday,
and like the mowers flash across Hank's face.
Oh, we didn't mention that I'm driving the mower this episode.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing that we do on the show. Yeah.
I noticed here we're in the den. The den has a different layout than what we've seen in it before. We primarily saw the den in the Luanne episode this season.
Is Hank wearing socks?
I don't know if he is in this one. Different layout of the den, but we did get to see the den.
I didn't flag that we were in the den, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, we're in the den.
After this scene, we see the Hills waking up at 4 a.m.
This was so funny.
Hank and Peggy get up at 4 a.m. making a lot of noise. Luanne and Bobby are essentially just coming out to say goodbye. They're sleepy. They want to go back to bed.
Hank is going to say some more racist shit about Dallas here as he's honking the horn. He's going to say... Kinda. He says we got to get to Dallas before the gangs wake up.
Oh yeah.
He's honking and then Peggy is yelling at him that it's 4 a.m. So like she's not being quiet either.
And then Min and Nancy from the Boggle Boosters of Ireland come out and they give Peggy honestly a fucking dripped out jacket.
Dope jacket.
Like a Dairy Queen logo. How'd they get all those sponsorships so quickly?
Yeah, that's a good question. Little time lapse.
And also, how do we get sponsored by Dairy Queen?
Yeah, or I think Mr. Lube is also one of the sponsors.
I would love a sponsorship from Mr. Lube.
What are you doing, step bro?
Here comes the best Min lines of the episode. Min is going to say, she's going to say good luck and maybe goodbye. And Peggy is like, what? And she says, where I come from, You either come back a winner or you don't come back at all. And then she says, "Good luck, Peggy Hill," like in a very cheery voice. And then she says, "Goodbye." So funny.
And is that because of the gangs in Dallas or because of the Boggle tournament? Or because
No.
Min is gonna kill her if she doesn't win? What's the implication there?
I think the implication is one of those old kind of racist tropey stereotypes that athletes from Asian countries, if they don't win, then they, you know, their family gets held hostage or something like that. That type of thing. Yeah.
Love that.
Probably not a good reference, but it comes off pretty funny the way that Min delivers it, I think.
Yeah, I don't think
Goodbye.
it's not too bad. It's pretty benign. But after that, we get a commercial break. Shout out
Commercial break.
commercials. We come back to I actually really loved the start of this next scene. Luanne is sitting in the living room watching Risky Business, but we first see Bobby coming out in his underwear. So you think that Bobby is doing the like I'm home alone
The
risky
risky
business thing.
business.
And Bobby comes out and asks what she's watching.
Yeah.
And she says, so he has no idea
He's doing laundry.
that they're
He'll
doing
say that later on.
they're
that he's
doing a
doing
reference
laundry.
accidentally to Risky Business.
Yes.
We talked about Risky Business. No, that was Jerry Maguire that we talked about.
Yeah.
That was a different Tom Cruise.
The
joint.
very first thing we get before we see Bobby and Luann is Hank and Peggy entering Dallas. We see an entering Dallas sign, and Hank locks the doors and rolls the windows up as soon as they get to Dallas.
Because the gangs might be awake.
The gangs might be awake. Here's where we get a little bit of foreshadowing for the season. I wrote this down, or for not the season. So Luann has rented Risky Business, but she also got a fire safety video starring Chuck Mangione.
Chuck Mangione. Oh,
yeah.
I didn't
there will
clock
be
that at all.
There will be a big fire involving Chuck Mangione later in the show. So
that's
is this
good.
foreshadowing?
Whoa, good job, man. What do you host, a fucking podcast or something?
What do I write? Multiple pages of notes about King of the Hill?
Wow.
Damn, you might be my Hill King for this episode, brother.
Yeah.
Good. I feel like I should have caught that. I'm kind
A
of
fire safety video starring Chuck Mangione, and it's cool to unplug the iron.
Yeah, it is. That is cool. Actually,
We get a nice little shot of Bobby looking over to the iron that's unplugged and being happy with himself for unplugging the iron.
Yeah, so remainder of this little scene here, we get that little interaction between Bobby and Luann. Hank in Dallas doesn't want a valet park because he thinks
Doesn't
the
like
guy
the
is
looks of the valet.
he's gonna take his truck on a joyride. They go into this
So
very Texas ass looking mall with elevators everywhere. I feel like I've been in that mall before.
I thought it was an Embassy Suites.
Did
I
it
could have
say that
sworn they were in
somewhere?
an Embassy Suites. It looked like a
It
hotel.
just felt like an NBC Suites.
Why would a mall have a valet? Although I guess some malls have valets.
Yeah, some malls even have like
Particularly in Dallas.
hotels fucking attached to them and shit.
I thought this was the hotel that they were pulling up to, but I'm
It
guessing
could have
if it's
been. That
Dallas,
could have been before the mall.
It's probably a big convention center type of
Yeah.
spot in Dallas.
But malls around
I
Dallas
mean, it's
are
state for
are
God.
bananas. Yeah. We get to meet Joan, the Boggle hospitality coordinator.
Uh-huh.
She
Joan.
welcomes them.
She's got a nice Midwestern accent.
Love the Midwestern access from Joan.
She's got a Parker brother she wants Peggy to meet.
Yeah. We cut back also in this scene to a little bit more from Bobby and Luann. Luann comes in while Bobby is having a drink and watching the fire video. And
here's where the B storyline starts.
Bobby is not using a coaster. Luann freaks out. There is immediately a ring on the coffee table from the coaster, and that kind of kicks off the B plot. We also get Hank and Peggy. I guess it was the hotel, because in this same scene they're checking in at the front desk, and it's not under Hank's name. It's under
Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Peggy Hill.
Yeah. And Hank is very much not okay with that, and he keeps ringing the bell, and like more and more like bellhop dudes are showing
bing,
up.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
One funny line here. Hank says, "Peggy married me. I didn't marry her."
Which
So funny.
very I've like have friends who are from Texas that are like this. That I remember when Marette and I got married, she didn't take my last name, and there were people that were like very confused by that. I don't give
Yep.
a shit because I mean, it was 2016 at the time, but
Yeah.
like, who cares?
Rachel
And
also
I
doesn't
since
have my
have
last
taken,
name.
yeah, I've taken Marette's last name. I have a maiden name.
That's because you're running from the law.
Yeah, that's
And Rachel has lots of professional licenses
you know-
that cost a lot. Bobby says, I'll think of something. I've got it. You think of
you
something.
think of something. Yep. So we get a little bit of fragility, man style. We get a kickoff of the B plot. After that, we are at the like Boggle meet and greet. We get to meet Sissy Cobb, the
Sissy
antagonist
Cobb.
of this episode.
Dallas
She's
Power Woman.
She's a real B word to Peggy.
Laugh.
Yeah.
Laugh.
We get a little bit more Bobby and Luanne freaking out about cleaning up the coaster stain.
Yeah.
And they drop a can of varnish, freak out because essentially they're learning how to get rid of it, and it involves a lot of sanding and varnishing, which is a little extra. They get
varnish,
one
polish, wax, sand, wax, varnish.
Yep, they get one tiny drop of varnish on the carpet, and then things kind of start to spiral out of control. Peggy and Hank show up at the Boggle tourney. Hank immediately tries to bail. And then Peggy, her first matchup is against Sissy Cobb. So we meet Sissy, immediately established that she's like the reigning champ and is also a real big old B word. And then Peggy immediately has to go up against her, gets 0 points and
0 points.
Flops and flubs and puts Arlen to shame, actually.
Yes. We get to meet Sissy Cobb's husband here. Hank's name tag says Mr. Peggy Hill on it, and the guy, Sissy Cobb's husband, calls him Peggy, and he was like, "You don't have to explain to me. I have an uncle named Leslie." And he goes, "The Duke John Wayne's name was Marion," and Hank gets like really pissed that his name tag says Peggy.
Is that true?
Yeah, John. I'm pretty sure that's true.
John Wayne's name is Marion?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
I also used to work for a man named Leslie. Shout out to men named Leslie.
Damn.
Yeah,
we're learning a lot about Chris today.
Peggy gets her ass kicked by Sissy Cobb.
Yeah, the only word that she gets off is dang, which doesn't count. So she gets 0 points. Has that ever happened to you? Like you're in a competition and you crack under the pressure and do completely horrible?
Yes. One time I was a competitive swimmer growing up.
Ooh, braggadocious.
One time I just completely forgot what race we were doing.
You completely forgot how to swim.
I did a different stroke. Yeah. Yeah. I dove in and I did freestyle. I did freestyle instead of breaststroke.
He dove in and he fucking drowned.
I was like, well, I did freestyle instead of breaststroke, which is so much faster. And then I like touched it. I was like, damn, I really kicked ass.
You're like,
and then
no, man. Oh, that sucks.
Stroke.
Oof. Yeah.
Yes.
Mine isn't quite that bad. I just there was a climbing competition once where I got about 3 moves up and fell and just kind of blew my load. But
nice. I had another funny line in here about before Peggy goes into the first match against Sissy. She talks about her vision of her winning and tying the trophy to the hood of the truck. And Hank says, "When I close my eyes, I'm at the mower show, and you're there too, like some beauty queen of yore, wearing a fur coat and a gold hat." Hank's like, yeah, you're there too.
Yeah, like a beauty queen of yore.
A beauty queen of yore wearing a fur coat and a gold hat. Sissy
Super
Cobb
good.
calls Peggy Patches, which I think is kind of funny.
Oh, because of her jacket.
her
She's
jacket.
just jealous. She's jelly.
Um,
After this, we cut back to the hotel room. Peggy is
yes.
beside herself. She's crying. Hank's trying to cheer her up by saying she's the best boggle player in Ireland and that she's smarter than him. And she's like,
She's
what
like,
the
big deal.
So she
Big
essentially calls
deal.
Hank dumb.
Yes.
He tries to coach her, which he
Loser. Loser.
does what his high school coach,
You are dirt. You're a big baby.
and it doesn't work very well.
You want a
Uh,
bottle, baby? A big dirt bottle?
And then to cool himself down, he has one of those mini bar $8 beers.
$8
So he
beers.
cracks an Alamo, and
Fun
then
fun inflationary gauge there.
yeah, $8 beer is a pretty normal thing. That's some pretty good
At a hotel
modern
bar,
day commentary, my dude.
yeah.
Wow.
I had one other fun little line that slips through here. The Boggle coaches have to watch from a separate room, which is
Oh
where
yeah,
we
there's
see
like a
Sissy
live
Cobb's
feed.
husband again.
Yeah.
Sissy Cobb's husband is taking the coaching job very seriously. He's got a little voice recorder and he says, like, the vowels are running slow. Coach's note, today is a good day for sometimes why. And then Hank is not paying attention to the match at all. And he says, for $7.50, I can ride the mower that cut the grassy knoll.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dallas. Let's talk
deep-
about it. Let's talk about JFK getting his brains blown out.
Yeah, that was technically in Fort Worth.
Oh, was it? I
Uh-huh.
mean, that's basically Dallas.
Yeah, they're kind of the same city now, the Metroplex. But yeah, JFK was assassinated at the grassy knoll by
I did everything right and they indicted me.
exactly. I just think it's funny
Um,
that Hank would be psyched to ride the mower that cut the grassy knoll.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't be?
But yeah, I think after the $8 beers where we get commercial break number 2.
Yep. And then we come back to Peggy being dejected, asking Hank to hold her purse. The guys are there, Bill and Dale and Boomhauer. They make fun of Hank while they're waiting for him to bail and go to the mower show. Boomhauer accuses Hank of being whipped.
Yeah.
And Bill, probably my favorite thing is he's wearing a shirt that says "My other car is a lawnmower."
Yeah, I liked that.
I think chime in the comments. That would be some solid merch if we just recreated
My
like
other car is a lawnmower.
bootlegged King of the Hill like cool T-shirts that come up. I
Yeah.
would wear the fuck out of that shirt. My other car
Hell
is a
yeah.
lawnmower. Chime in. Maybe we can just make some for us.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants a "My other car is a lawnmower" shirt, just say
I had some notes here on the second day of competition. Hank said, they're saying she's 255 out of 256. She's doing better than Boggle playing chicken,
yes.
which I thought was funny. And then here we see Peggy. She takes out some mementos from home to help her.
Yeah,
She's
troll
got
doll.
a troll doll, a family pick, and she's also got the P trap, that pipe from the Elks Lodge
Aw.
scene. So
Kinda
she's going to
sweet.
keep that P trap that Hank bought and didn't install anywhere.
He just bought it for sentimental value.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably got a good deal on it. Did you note the bad Hank animation there before he has to go away from the
I didn't.
coaching? There's a real fast, he just kind of like disappears.
I think at one point too they cut away from Bill and then back to Bill, and the font on his t-shirt is like more bold.
Nice. There's some funny lines in here. The guys are ragging on him for, holding the purse, and Dale says, 2 days ago you were like an excited little boy about the mower show, and now you're a strange man holding a purse. He's like, what are you, a little boy or a man? It's like, I'm still a little boy, damn
he
it.
wants to be a little boy.
I'm still a little boy, damn it. And then he like tosses the purse back behind him, like a
Yeah.
little dramatically.
Yeah, that was good. And a good payoff with the like boggle chicken thing is we cut to Peggy like in her next match. She's kind of gaining a little bit of confidence and she wins. And then it pans over and she's playing against the boggle chicken.
She's played against Boggle Chicken, yeah.
She picks up a W. against Boggle Chicken. In the next scene, we get a little bit more Bobby and Luanne. Now they're essentially fully renovating the house, and they have a whole team of people in there. Short little cut to that. But it's escalating. They're freaking the fuck out. They're like, there's only 48 hours until they get home, just to take care of one little ring on a coaster in one spot on the carpet. Hank is feeling guilty while he's at the mower show.
Yep, he keeps
and
seeing
then
Boggle.
Yep, we get kind of cut back and forth to Peggy being on a little bit of a winning streak. She's picking up
She's
a little
heating
bit
up.
of confidence.
She's heating up.
At the mower show, we get to see a VR mower,
Yes.
which
Here's also where I had some storyline inconsistency, maybe, because I know that there is inconsistency with Peggy's timeline throughout the show of when she comes from Montana to Arlen. And Bill is having such a good time at the Mower Expo. He says he hasn't had this much fun since their last high school road game whenever they went to state. And Bill makes a comment that Peggy was there cheering him on.
yeah, that's
So
right.
Bill makes the comment that Peggy was at their state football game, which
But
they
she
did
didn't
lose,
move.
by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this might be one area where we have some inconsistent Peggy facts.
Yeah, did they say when in any other episode that she moved to Montana?
I don't think we've gotten to it yet. I think there might be in future episodes, so this could be wrong, but this I think stood out to me as like maybe that's incorrect.
But could it have been when they were in high school?
It could have been. I don't know. We'll find out. Stay tuned for more.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, we get to see some VR mower, all the cool stuff from the mower show, but Hank
Boomhauer
is just
cuts his VR fingers off.
Yep. Hank is just feeling kind of guilty. Bill brings up the state football championship and how Peggy was there. Peggy is kind of looking around at the show and noticing that Hank is nowhere to be found, and then realizes that she's up in the finals against Sissy Cobb.
I also thought it was funny here in this scene. Peggy is, we hear Sissy's voice from off screen, and then we see the chair, and Peggy's like, Sissy Cobb, is that you? And she spins the chair around, and she's not in the chair. She's just like standing to the side. I thought that was good.
Yeah, kind of similar-ish gag to the Risky Business. Diverting expectations is what we call that. If anyone's taking notes in the chat, that's called diverting expectations.
So Peggy goes into the finals without her coach, and
we also see that there are announcers for this final match, and one of them is named Alexei Golgarich.
Yes,
which I feel like that just has to be like a chess reference. So many Russian people are good at chess.
I tried to do some digging of who that was exactly supposed to be, but there are so many Russian dude names Alexei who are famous chess players that I could not quite figure it out.
It's one of them.
It was one like Alexei Galgarin or Kulkarin or something. He's definitely a take on a real person. So correct us in the comments section on who this chess playing Russian figure is supposed to be.
I'm sure we have a lot of chess fans in our
a lot of Russians. Big over there.
Oh yeah. No, we actually, our first episode got blocked in Russia.
Oh, really?
That's a
Because
true
the copyright thing?
There was a song that we played in episode 1, shout out, that the only place that it was blocked by YouTube was Russia. So Russia's fucking clamoring for our shit, but they can't get it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But yeah, final scene here. Peggy is up against Sissy. She is only spelling sad words.
Sad, abandons, bad, man.
While Hank is rushing back to go and be with her.
She does break her pencil, and then she chews it into a point.
Yep.
Which I thought was pretty hardcore of her.
She breaks her final pencil, though, and they essentially allude to having no pencil means that you're disqualified. And Hank shows up triumphantly with the replacement.
Write words down if you don't have a pencil.
Yeah, but you'd think that they would just have another pencil for you.
Well, that's what the coach is for.
Well, the coach does show up in his cool ass pink coach shirt,
Pink boggle coach
which
shirt.
that would also be another cool bootleg to make, the coach boggle shirt. And then we get a let's show them how we play boggle in Arlen, and a
Hoo
yeah,
Hoo
and
yeah.
then a little bit of a boggle montage, which is my
Mhm.
favorite kind of montage.
Bogtage.
Uh,
Whenever Hank does show up and give her the pencil, and Hank, says, "Let's show 'em how we do it in Ireland," Peggy flashes her smile, and it is full of pencil shavings. Did you catch that? Her teeth are all
yeah,
like yellow and brown.
Yeah. She's just been eating pencils.
Well,
And
she had to
then
sharpen it.
the final reveal of words from Sissy, we get caviar, chinchilla, and harpsichord. And then Peggy goes with a different strategy of going with a bunch of short words. Fish, fishes, slaw, soil, churn, churns, apron, aprons, ain't. And she says ain't isn't a word.
Ain't a word.
And then we learn that it wasn't ain't, it was acquaintanceship. And that
As
gives
in-
Peggy
As in,
nice
I am
to
not
make.
pleased to meet your acquaintance.
Yeah.
Yes. The Russian announcer said something interesting there. He was like,
Yes, the fire
she did
safety.
harpsichord, but not harp and chord, which if she had done harp and chord along with harpsichord, she probably would have won. So Sissy Cobb really let her pride get in front of her.
She blew the bag.
Hubris. Hubris.
The announcers after Peggy wins triumphantly also say that they're gonna throw back to fire safety with Chuck Mangione.
Chuck Mangione is explaining the hotel's fire safety policies.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a nice little moment between Hank and Peggy where he is finally being supportive, gives her a kiss, and he's got the Mr. Peggy Hill name tag on his butt.
Yep.
Which progressive king moment.
Mm-hmm.
It took him a while.
We did get a post credit or a credits roll scene.
We get a nice, beautiful post credit scene where the Hills come home and Bobby and Luanne just have a fucking house full of cleaning people, and Hank and Peggy somehow think that they're having a party. Like
they think that they're like kids.
They don't
kids.
they don't question that they're all like fucking 40-year-old men.
It's like, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You have school tomorrow.
Yep. And Hank kicks them all out and grounds Bobby, which is
so funny.
A nice little ending. They don't even like try to explain themselves because they're completely caught. But not for what they thought.
So funny. Yeah.
And that's the story. That's the endo of the episode, my dude. Pretty solid. A lot of good jokes in this one.
How many beers do you think you're drinking?
Oh, how many beers do I want to pull out for this one?
Are you cracking?
Let's go through it. Let's recap the recap. So we had some good digs on Dallas, which I always love.
I love dig on Dallas.
We had a lot of very solid kind of one-off jokes. The risky business thing. Min had some good lines. Luanne had some good lines. We had some Chuck Mangione. We had multiple who yeah, Peggy like kind of feels like she's starting to come into her own as a character in this episode. For some reason, the Zachary Quinn Jr. joke really stood out for me. I thought that was funny. Just like Peggy throw into a kid in a wheelchair. All the Hank stuff was good. I really liked the mower commercial.
Sunday.
I loved Bill's shirt.
I think I'm giving it 4. I'm gonna drink 4 beers on a Sunday.
I think I was feeling like a 3, but I think I might bump her up as well.
Yeah, it was a
bump
it was
up
a
to
fun
a 4.
One.
We'll have a nice little 4 beer Sunday.
I really liked a good solid B storyline.
Yeah, it wasn't a super meaty B storyline. It was just kind of for that throwaway joke.
Yeah.
So should we do the final segment on the show?
It's time.
Do you think that we should crown the king of this hill now that we've gone through the episode?
God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby.
This is the segment of the show where we crown the MVP of the episode, the king of this hill. Since I drovid the mower, my guy, do you want to hit me with your hill
Groove.
king? Doesn't have to be based on anything at all. Completely esoteric, how you're feeling in the moment. Who in this episode are you giving the crown to?
I think, honestly, I feel like in this episode, Hank deserves it.
Damn.
He does kind of finally realize that Peggy supports him and did support him in a lot of stuff, and he kind of finally realizes that, you know, she needs some support there. And I feel like it didn't really take a big like hit over the head lesson for him to realize it this time. So I was proud of my boy Hank in this episode.
Yeah, it kind of seems that we've gotten kind of the same storyline with Hank already, of just like him being an asshole, and then him
Not being
realizing that,
considering it. Yeah.
yeah. So for that reason, I'm not gonna give it to Hank. For mine, I think I've gotta go the easy route and throw it to Peg.
Yeah.
I think I gotta give it to Peggy for this one. I think this is my first Peggy
I
crowning.
think so. That might be the first Peggy.
No, you've done one.
Oh, I picked
You'll
up?
see
Okay.
them. They'll all be down here, cute little.
Ooh.
They'll all be dancing around. You can keep track of who we've got. End of the season, we'll kind of do a moratorium of sorts on the Hill King segment. But I believe this is my first Peg.
Runner up for me was my favorite line of the entire episode, which is Min saying goodbye. Just her cold, flat delivery
That
goodbye.
was good. That was good.
Wow. So good.
I wanted to give it to Luanne again.
I know you. I thought you were
And
going to give
Bobby.
it to Luanne.
Yeah. I really did enjoy that B story, but I feel like it was such a strong Peggy episode.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to the girl.
Yep.
Cool,
Nice.
man.
Hell yeah.
We got through all of that with only minimal issues of my computer storage being completely full.
And we didn't go extremely long, which we are wont to do on a Sunday.
We are wont to do, but we don't do that no more. We're streamlined because we're
growing
famous.
up.
Yeah. Well, that'll just about do it for this episode. You got anything to say to the people? You got anything to plug?
No.
Nothing to say.
Nar plugs.
Well, you can subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube.
Please
you can
do.
hit the like button. You can comment. All of those are options that aren't mandatory, but encouraged.
Highly encouraged. And
We
if
are
you
on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well, linked below if you're watching on YouTube. If you are listening on Apple and Spotify and you're not subscribed there, you can do that. You can also rate the show on both platforms.
Please do.
Rate it 5 stars. And let us know your Hill King for every single episode of the season. Write it all in a comment or a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at Hill Kings Pod. We are also on TikTok, and I'm editing TikTok highlights and posting those on TikTok at Hill Kings Pod on TikTok. We're fucking everywhere. You can email us too, man.
Also,
you can email us.
Send us King of the Hill memes.
21.
Send us memes. I've started just like reposting some memes in our story on Instagram.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
If you find any cool King of the Hill memes, send them our way. We'll post them on the page.
Yeah. Heck yeah, guys.
Cool, man.
Nice.
Well, that'll do it for episode 9. Next week, we are back with episode 10 of the show, which is all about Bobby smoking cigs. That episode is called Keeping Up with Our Joneses. So tune in next week for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you then.
See you later, folks.
Hill Kings Podcast.